welcome back to 30 Days to Building a Marriage You Love. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Chris.
And we're here with tip number 7, which is raise the flag. And this is another terminology that we use probably every week, maybe every other week.
Yeah.
So what does raise the flag mean to you?
So I think anytime we reach a point of no return, and there's times that we just need a moment to step aside and get alone and resolve something, we raise the flag. When we're at the point that we know that we're not going to be able to resolve it in that moment together, we take a step back, we raise the flag, and we walk away. And it's an opportunity to cool down. It's an opportunity to really seek the Lord and see what it is in that moment that you need to do. Because again, like we talked about in the previous class, it's about serving the other person too. It doesn't mean that the other person's always right? But it does mean that you need to look at yourself and see, we need to look at ourselves and see, what am I doing wrong in this moment? And how do I address it? I'm going to raise the flag because I'm not in a good moment. I'm not in a good frame of mind, and I'm going to work on myself so we can come back together, resolve whatever the conflict is, and move on.
Yeah, I agree. I also think raising the flag can be an independent thing. I don't necessarily think it has to be just you and I are here in this moment together and we're like having a tough moment. I think too, it can be, for example, if Chris were to come home and he has had a good day and I've had just a very full day with the kids and I'm kind of at my limit, never happens, right? But if he were to come home and that is the environment that he's walking into, if I have not texted him or emailed him to just give him a heads up to say, hey, that is an example of one way to raise the flag, to say, I need a minute. When you get in here, I love you. I want to hear about your day, but I need a minute. I am not going to show up to anything well until I take a minute to reset alone.
Yeah.
And that can even be if he walks in the door, and if something starts just kind of unraveling and I feel like you start to notice that inside yourself of like what's going on and just kind of those warning signs that you can say,
or start spiraling
if it were to happen, that, yeah, you could say, I do want to unpack this later, but I'm not in a good mental space right now to show up to this conversation. And that's just our indicator that we use with each other to raise the flag. And I would say even a good takeaway for this tip would be raising the flag early and often, which goes back to supporting tip number 1, which is communication. The more that you can communicate to let your spouse, your person, know where you're at and what you're navigating, not in a dramatic, like, we've got to unpack every single thing, but just raising like, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm, this is how I'm processing things. It gives, what are you laughing about?
I'll let you know when it's my turn.
Help. It will help set you and your spouse up for success for the moment. Go ahead.
Okay. So I want to know in the comments section, how many people remember ponchos? So ponchos used to have the little flex. She doesn't know about ponchos.
I do know about ponchos.
What do you know about ponchos?
In Texas, they had really good sopapillas.
Okay, they did have good sopapillas. Ponchos, you could raise the little flag and then the servers would come and it would just keep bringing you food. Glorious. I don't even know if there's any more ponchos. And now I'm going to check this out when we're done with this video. But they would come out, they would bring more food, they would bring you more sopapillas, and they were always there to serve you. Ultimately, for us, raising the flag is that, like, that's what I think about every time she says raise the flag. I don't care how upset
you think about ponchos.
I think about ponchos. I think about her. She goes and raises the flag, and I think about that. I don't know why.
I think a sopapilla would actually help me.
If she brought me a sopapilla,
help me.
If I brought her a sopapilla,
but we are talking about serving each other. So yes, me bringing you one too.
Whichever way we want to approach it, love. But at the end of the day, it's a visual reminder for me when she says that it's not necessarily her serving me in that moment, it's me serving her too. And so we think about it when either of us raises the flag, that there's something else we can do to better serve the other person. And we need to take a moment to really address it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that just came to mind as you're saying all that is teammate. So just as you would as teammate, if you're playing any type of sport and your teammate gives you an indicator of, hey, this is happening, and you kind of take a block for them, like we'll say in basketball or football, whatever, like you block. That's exactly,
I'm just impressed you're using a reference to football and
but that's what it
basketball.
is. That's what I think. That's what I think
I
about.
know.
Some people think about ponchos but that's what I think about is you're taking a block for the person to say, hey, I'm not going to show, I'm not playing the game very well right
Yeah.
now. I need you to take a block for me and I need to go reset so I can get back in the game, or your oxygen mask.
Yeah.
So,
And we talked about it, and I think it was video 2 and 3. We talked about turtlenecks. I raised the flag about turtlenecks in both those videos. We have a different approach to turtlenecks tonight, and it's a lovely approach. I think it is. I love it. I love your shirt tonight.
you're great. Okay, so the takeaway for tip number 7, which is raise the flag, would just be raise the flag early and often. And that goes back to the communication to let your partner, your teammate know where you're at, how you're doing, so that way they can come alongside of you and it sets you both up for success. So thank you for joining us, and we will be back with tip number 8.